just one of those things, right? You just kind of have to get used to dealing with it.
Yep.
And some people are better at dealing with it than others. Like, there's people that are 20 years in, they're like, I love this. I love the military. You never met those, like, a lot of times you see it, it's like, they're like, it's like retired, like, not retired, but like, it's like 25 years in, colonel or something. He's having such a great time. He shows up in drill, it's like, hey, how you guys doing? You enjoying the military, man? This is so good.
Oh,
you guys are doing so great.
Let's be high speed.
Yeah, right. That man is living the dream. Man.
Yep.
He's living the best life. But,
yep. And everyone else is like putting on their face. We're like,
but some people are
sure.
The guy that just got done yelled at.
Yeah.
It's definitely like different people, different strokes, different folks, right?
Yes. You just gotta laugh at it.
Sometimes, yeah.
Yeah. It's the only thing that makes
not
it go
take
by.
everything too seriously.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. Especially when even with some things that are like not like low key or like medium serious, it's just like you just laugh at it because you're like, okay, this is just some fucking stupid bullshit.
What I love is the people that are like super high speed in terms of the soldiers that take everything they do like extremely serious.
Yes.
I have so much respect for people like that, but at the same time, it's like the intensity sometimes does not match what's going on.
No. Yeah.
I had a drill sergeant at base. It's a funny story. He was like an ex-Marine. His name was like Drill Sergeant Martinez. He was like the most like high speed soldier I've seen in my entire life.
Okay.
He would literally like make Marines cry. He would go. He would show up to the formation. He would stand like the English soldiers. He would stand like those. Not a muscle would move. He's just like a statue. He would do like a perfect left face. He would look at people, start like pointing out things that are wrong. He would smoke the entire formation. As soon as he starts to smoke the formation, he goes, everybody face, friendly rest position, move. And then everybody goes down. He goes down with them. And now he's doing push-ups like quicker, better, and faster than everybody else.
That's funny.
Completely like
blowing him away.
Yeah, blowing everybody out of the water.
That's great.
This man was extremely high speed. He was the funniest guy. He was an EOD, like explosive ordnance disposal.
Yeah.
But he wasn't a bad person. He was a good guy.
Yeah.
But he took it like super serious. If you were trying to like play around and have fun, he did not enjoy it. He was like, this is like you're a soldier. There's no. He's like old school, old school.
Okay.
But it was an interesting guy. He was funny. Like there was a time where he was trying to teach us a class about like running. It was a random class. It's like, how to run. And he just got so mad. He goes up and he goes, I don't understand why I have to teach this. This is stupid. Listen, trainees, I just run, trainees. You just go forward. You just move. I don't understand this.
Pick your legs up.
Yeah. But he was like, I don't know. Maybe you guys are too lazy or too stupid. You don't understand this. I don't know. Let's figure it out. And he plays the video. I was trying so hard not to laugh.
Yeah.
Not to get the entire like group smoked, but
yeah,
it was definitely a time. I'll tell you, like, and every time he taught a class, he would always do it like that. He would just blast through it, like he would be like, "Where's the college professors?" Where they just keep going. Yeah. He was taking everything way too serious. Like it's just next level.
That's great. But
I appreciate the energy. Like,
oh yeah.
It was very motivating to work with him.
It is. It's motivating and hilarious at the same time.
Yeah, you would never feel like, I'm just going to do like this job or whatever. No, if he's involved, like you have to do it good.
Yeah.
Like, I believe that in a way that helped motivate a lot of the people that were there too.
Oh, I'm sure.
And a lot of people might actually try to be like him in some ways, right? And I believe there's a lot of lessons you can take from people like him that actually treat the job seriously and enjoy being in the military. Like, they enjoy the process and everything related to it.
Yes. Okay. Well, since I can't talk, oh my god.
I just run, trainees. I just run. I don't understand. I just run. That is a crazy story. Yes,
so since we're on the subject of crazy stories, this is my favorite question. What is your funniest drill or military story that you have, or better yet, if you have more than one?
That is kind of a tough one because you kind of put me on the spot. I'm trying to remember like funny stuff. I usually like I'd say I'm a pretty like chill guy. So
Okay.
a lot of stuff that's funny happens, but I don't really like.
Has anyone in
Keep
your
track.
Has anyone in your unit like pulled pranks, or have you pulled a prank, or
Oh yeah,
just, like,
there's a lot of classic ones they used to do. Like there was a time where we went to the range. We were like shooting like 50 cals and stuff.
Oh, no.
And then the guy, like it wasn't when we were shooting. Like the truck was just stopped. They turned on the emergency battery disconnect inside the cab.
Yeah.
And the operator did not know what was going on. And he's like, the lights are not coming on. And then everybody was like gaslighting him. They were like, no, but it's because you left the lights on. He's like, did I? Oh my god, I cannot believe I did this. It was the funniest thing. Everybody was dying. And we used to do a lot of stuff like that. It was funny, but then he realized he got so mad. He was like, "You guys suck." He got so offended, but it was funny. It was funny, like because he just didn't know. Like a lot of operators don't know a lot of stuff.
Sorry,
but
operators.
it's not their fault though because they just never been taught.
Right.
It's,
Right.
Like, a lot of the times you learn stuff as a 91 Bravo because you have to work with diagnostics and like work with the trucks in a more specific way.
Yeah.
So you're messing them more with the trucks. You're experimenting more. With
Okay.
what the truck does and what does this button do and what does the other button do. Whereas if you're an operator, how many times do you have to press the battery disconnect?
Mm-hmm.
Most people don't even know that exists or why it's there. Right? So.
Have you ever tried to like fuck with someone with like the battery disconnect, or just like?
Oh yeah, that happens all the time. But a lot of times, if you do it to a 91 Bravo, you'll catch it.
Well, with us, yes,
yeah,
you'll catch
you'll
it.
catch
It's the driver.
Because
that's
he'll
just
be like, he'll start looking around. He'll look through the obvious stuff, which is like, oh, all the emergency battery disconnects. Like, oh, there's one here, there's one there. There's one.
Yep.
And he sees it, and it's like, oh, you bastard. Or like, for example, the ignition switch. You know, the cable that's right behind it.
Yep.
You can disconnect just one of them.
Yep.
And the ignition won't go because it doesn't have enough power.
Yep.
Or you disconnect the ground and it doesn't go either. If you do one of those, like the person's going to be hours trying to figure out what's going on with the ignition. Like the operator's going to be like, oh my god, the truck is not working. I put the key, it's not going. I'm turning, it's not working. I don't know what's going on.
Yeah.
And it's just a little cable behind it is disconnected. That's the type of stuff that can be like really interesting and funny.
But believe it or
Like
not,
silly pranks.
I don't think I've ever pulled an actual prank on someone.
It's definitely something that you shouldn't do all the time.
You grow a reputation of pulling pranks.
Yeah.
Everyone's gonna be like, we know who did it.
It's not even that. It's more about safety. Like there's pranks that can cause problems, right? So when you pull a prank, you gotta pick a time and a place and be very very smart when you choose like when to pick a prank.
Yeah.
Because you don't want to just place a prank on somebody and the person ends up with like a runaway engine or something crazy and then it's a disaster.
That would be bad.
Right,
That'd be very
exactly.
bad.
So that's the type of prank you don't want to pull, right?
No.
The pranks were like, oh, let me turn off your brakes. Listen, that stops being a prank. That becomes more of a attempted murder.
Yeah. No, that
you got to be careful with that one.
That would not be good.
Yeah, I would do that one.
No.
So.
I wouldn't go to that point of seriousness. That'd be bad.
Yeah, I've said that to friends as a joke, but it's only a joke. No, I'm gonna cut your brakes.
No, mine would definitely be like a battery disconnect, or like a
silly stuff.
Yeah, it's like something small and stupid.
Yeah, like you grab something that, like for example, you switch their nameplates when they're sleeping or something like that. That's another one you can do. Like simple basic stuff that it's not gonna.
Well, we've done name tapes before. We switch people's name tapes or put them on upside down.
Oh yeah.
Like small stuff like that, or like an actual like good prank.
I saw one that was hilarious. It was a guy who was asleep. Yeah. They managed to roll him to a air mattress, and then they put the wet hair mattress in the river, and just let him float away. And the guy just wakes up and is like, "What the fuck is going on?" It was a pretty crazy prank, but it was funny. So the guy just like swam back. It was like the funniest thing.
That's bad.
Yeah,
that's really bad.
The guy is just floating through the river, just going.
Actually, I lied. I have one prank that we did. It was kind of a prank, but it was like they watched us. So my first, I think it was my first AT. We went to Canada, and it was like it was like the end of the week or like the end of our like 2 weeks or whatever, and they allowed us to go in their Humvee, which they don't have Humvees. They actually have G-Wagons, which is interesting.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah, which is interesting. So they gave us a tour of their base, and we saw their maintenance flag, it was very interesting color maintenance flag.
it was like rainbow colors or something.
Literally.
Oh jeez.
But it was like different color, like our rainbow flag,
than
whatever.
You used to, right?
Yeah, and we wanted to steal it.
Ooh,
Well,
that's a good one.
Well, they were with us. Like the Canadians, some of the Canadians were actually like with us, and they're like, hey, we want that flag. And they looked at us like we saw nothing. We're like, really? Like we could fuck with them? So we ended up getting out, and they had their flag. It was actually on a stick, just like a regular stick. Well, we pulled it down. We stole their flag, and then we took our patch, the American flag patch, and we strung it on there as they replaced their flag, and then put it back up.
American flag is like tiny flag. That's actually hilarious.
Yeah,
I would love to do something like that.
And then after that, we had a meeting. After that,
Right? Everybody got in trouble. Extra duty.
All right, who did it? Who did what? They want their flag back, and we're like, oh fuck.
It's probably because the regular soldiers were having a kick about it, and then like the sergeant major or something walks in and is like,
Maybe.
"Where's the flag?"
Yeah.
I made it myself.
Yep. So we ended up giving it back. Yeah, but it was a good story.
That's funny.
It was a great story.
That's a good prank for you, though.
It is. Yeah.
Depending on the base, they might get you in trouble because some people are very patriotic. They could cause you some problems.
It was all good fun.
But if it's a good fun, people generally won't take it too personally.
I mean, the Canadians told us we could do it.
Yeah,
It was
they probably
just-
found it was like the most exciting thing that happened in the base for like months.
Probably.
They're like,
yeah.
"Oh, damn, somebody took the flag."
Yeah.
Now they have conversation
Yeah.
starters for the next week.
Yeah, but it was so like the people we were with, they weren't. I don't think they were actually like mechanics. I think they were just like part of like the company, whatever
Gotcha.
the job was.
Yeah.
So like we were fucking with the mechanics. So it's just like the mechanics
Yeah.
are the ones that complained about it.
The
and
maintenance is probably the guys that like they're the guys that didn't like the flag color. they were trying to do something about it. They're like, "Oh, these guys came around, perfect.
Yeah.
Exactly
Let's
what
get
we
it out of
needed.
here.
You got the right people for the job."
Yeah.
because they don't want to get in trouble, right?
Yep.
Because if it's their own soldiers, worse, right? Because like, oh, you're disrespecting them flag. How can you do that?
Yep.
But if it's some random guys from a different unit, they can't even smoke you guys because like they're not your command, right? It's your
Exactly.
first sergeant that has to go.
Yep.
Yeah. So yeah, that's funny. That's
It was-
actually a
it
good
was good shit. It was good shit. I actually have it like in my phone too. It's like deep in there in the pictures. So I come across it once in a while.
They have a lot of funny. I have a lot of like silly stuff happen in drill and stuff, but it's mostly like small things. It's never like big,
Yeah.
like, crazy stuff.
Yep.
Most of the drills we usually just like did 80 mic stuff and hanged around. That's pretty much what we do.
Fair enough.
It's just regular drill.
Yep.
A lot of shooting and stuff like that.
Yeah.
The shooting is actually probably the part that I like the most. Right?
We don't do it that often, though.
That is true. That is true. That's one of the criticisms I always had about like a lot of the MOSs that don't like going to the range. Is that at the end of the day you're a soldier.
Right.
And
No matter what your
that
job
would be
is.
the one thing you want your soldier to be able to do. It's shoot.
You would think.
Right?
You would think.
If nothing else, maybe he's not that good at PT or something, but at least he
You better be good at
can shoot
shooting.
somebody.
Yeah.
At least if
Yeah.
something,
We're gonna go to
if a
war.
conflict, if war breaks out,
be able to do
he'll
that.
take at least one with him, right? So it's like one for one, right?
Yes, absolutely.
I believe that at least that would benefit a lot. Like I got a lot of opportunities because I just volunteered for stuff. I would be like, hey, I want to do it. Yeah, I don't mind because I like weaponry in general, like the technology behind it, the engineering behind it. I really appreciate it.
Right. Absolutely.
Like
Bertrand, sit down!
fucking Wilson.
I love that guy.
Yeah.
But as I said, like it's more of a I like weaponry in general. I
Yeah.
think it's interesting. Like I used to watch all those documentaries that show up at like 3 a.m. in the morning. It's like World War II, what the Nazis didn't tell you, and it's like an old tank, and the guy is like an old middle-aged man with like a coat on. He's like British accent explaining to you what the tank does.
Yep.
Or maybe he's like German or something.
Yep.
But it's very interesting. You learn a lot.
Yeah.
Like they used to have crazy technology even for the time. Yeah, there was a lot of like great stuff that you can see from like the engineer side and like the science side of it.
Right. Yep.
Yeah. It's just stuff that interests me. I think it's interesting. It's like history. I think history is interesting in some ways. You can learn a lot from
I
it.
definitely like history.
Yeah.
It's probably my favorite subject, especially when you're trying to learn like a particular thing. It's not even so much like history as in like the history of like people. Like I like the history of just like learning how like, you know, we'll say like I get into cameras. It's like, okay, what's the history of cameras and how did it get invented and what was the first brand? And,
Yeah, it's curious.
and all
It's
stuff like that.
interesting, yeah. Like hearing about the stories of like, oh, the first car, how it came to be. It's very interesting. There's a lot of great.
I actually looked up what the first car was, and I thought the U.S. actually made it, and it was nuts.
No, I think it was the Germans, right? Volkswagen?
It was either the Germans or the...
Wasn't it the Benz guy that made the first one?
I think so. I don't know.
Carl
I
Benz,
don't know if it
I
was
think it was his name, something like that. I don't remember his name.
It was either... Yeah, I think it was like
I think Carl
it
Benz
a
was the
Benz.
first one that invented like the commercial car.
Yeah.
I think he was the first one that made it.
Or something like
Ford
that.
was the first guy that invented the production line that streamlined the process to make a car.
Yes. Yeah.
Yeah, he made like the standardized engines and all that stuff that you can do, like so that you can have like cars as a commercial thing, the car industry.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah, I've always had a high interest in that.
I like cars.
I do
like
too.
cars. You look through like my threads on. I like using threads sometimes. It's like the Twitter version of Instagram, and I follow a lot of pages about like JDM and like cars.
Yep.
You know, JDM like Japanese drift like modifying and like racing.
Yep.
They have a lot of like the tuned cars, like you see like the Nissan Skylines and all this crazy stuff.
Yes.
Like the Supras, right? You see a lot of those. I love those cars. If I ever like give like big money where I can afford those, I would have at least like one of each in my collection. I want a Ford GT, like definitely one of those.
Old or new?
I like the older style better.
Yep. Okay.
It's not the new. I would like the new ones for convenience, right? Because the new ones are gonna have like the screens and all the fancy stuff, the heated seats, right?
Yes.
But I do like the design of the older ones much better.
Yeah.
It looked much more like a race car. And I
Yeah.
liked it. But it didn't look like the race cars they look like nowadays, where there's a lot of race cars that look like Hot Wheels.
Yeah.
Where I don't like the look of it. Like, for example, McLarens are a very good example. I'm not really a big fan of like McLaren designs. I think they're like too flashy.
Yep.
I like more subdued but still powerful types of designs. More stuff like Maserati, right?
Okay.
Where it's more like luxurious. Like you look at it, it's like, oh, it's a nice car.
Yeah.
It looks really nice, like a Porsche, right? Porsche has like a lot of nice cars that I enjoy. I always enjoy them.
Yep.
Yeah, it's the types of brands that I enjoy. Like, I was never a Ferrari guy. Like, I'm not
Ferrari
big-
guy. I'm not a big
into
Ferrari guy. I
I don't have a red car.
Dude, I'm tired of having red
90%
cars.
90% Ferraris are red.
Yeah.
It's like, no.
So I am way more of a muscle car guy. But if I was gonna
True.
pick an exotic brand, I like McLaren.
Okay. I mean, yeah.
How often do you see a McLaren?
That is true. Like, it's a very unique car, I'd say. Yeah. It's like the Paganis, right? Paganis and all these like crazy brands they have, like even like Bugatti, right? It's a very exotic car. Like you don't see people. That's what I would call like an exotic car. Right? Not even just a sports car. It's difficult to see something like that.
Right.
It's like you pull up with a Lamborghini Miura that's worth like $20 million or something crazy, right?
Yeah.
Because it's a collection car, like or something like that. I don't even remember if that's the name, but
Yeah.
the point that I'm saying is more just it depends on what you were looking for in terms of car collector, person that cares about cars.
Yes.
I was never a big fan of like the Lambos, like Gallardos and all the stuff. I'm not a fan of it.
Nah.
It's just not for me. I feel like they're a little overrated. That's all.
I like them, or I should say, I respect them. Well, I
feel like
respect
they're too
them more than I
flashy,
like
though.
them.
They're too flashy. They
They
stand out.
are very flashy.
I'm not a very big standing out guy.
Well, it's not even just that. It's like it's the go-to rich person car. Like
Yeah, everybody has one.
Everyone has one.
You go to Dubai, they have
There's so
a
many
parking
of
lot
them.
full of them.
It's like Lamborghini is just like the icon exotic car to have, and it's just like
you need to have the Lambo if you're gonna do something.
So many people have it that it's not like iconic anymore. It's just like I want to have something that no one else has. And
It's interesting that Lamborghini managed to outshine Ferrari over time, right? Because Ferrari used to be like the big like sports car like brand. Everybody had Ferraris, right?
yes,
But Lamborghini managed to like catch up with time and eventually even surpass them now. Like they're more popular in terms of like the regular people.
yep,
Whereas like Ferrari's more for like people that just like racing. Yeah.
yeah.
That's more like the stuff you say. But actually, like, there's a lot of other brands that have like really good sports cars. Like, even like Mercedes has a lot of like more like high-end models that are pretty good too. Like the AMG stuff.
Yep.
Yeah, there's some decent models you can find. Like I said, like Maseratis, a lot of the fancy like stuff. I was never big into like the Continentals and Rolls Royces and stuff. That is like a president car. If you're the president, you might have one.
I like
I'm not the
I like
president
them all.
yet. Okay.
I'm not the president yet. That's the next step. That's the next step down the road. Become president.
I couldn't do it even if I wanted to be the president, you got to be like born in the U.S.
Yeah.
But yeah, that's the type of car. It's like, oh, you're a business owner, you're the CEO. That's when you stop driving cars and you have somebody drive it for you.
Exactly.
You have
that's,
a butler.
That's
That's
where
when
you
you buy a
show
Rolls
real
Royce.
money
Yeah,
is when
that's
you
when-
have a driver and you don't
Yeah.
even have to drive your own car anymore. Although I wouldn't do that all
You have
the
a driver,
time.
and your driver wears gloves.
Yeah. yeah.
He's like, yes, my lord.
Yep. That'll be the
Take
day.
your own time.
That's one of those things where I'm going to get rich and there'll be signs. I'm just not going to tell you. I
guess.
show up in this stretched limo with driver.
And then Bertrand just comes out with the Hawaiian shirt. Some flip flops. The Steve Jobs style.
Yeah.
No, not the Steve Jobs. What's his name? Steve Jobs wears the opposite. He used to wear the turtlenecks.
Okay.
It's the Bill Gates style.
Oh yeah,
Bill
yeah,
Gates
yeah.
used to go to like meetings and like flip flops.
Yeah.
That is crazy. But yeah, it's definitely like it's not something I want to do in the future in terms of. I don't like a lot of material stuff, but there's one material thing that I enjoy is cars. Like
Yes.
I enjoy cars. I like cars, especially like the fancy models. They're like more rare. I think it's interesting. Like the Skylines, the Supras, all this like crazy like old but not too old cars.
Yep.
Like getting like a 2003 Mitsubishi Lancer Evo type thing, like all kitted out,
Yep.
like still in good shape.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's the type of thing that's the type of like how do I say a vanity item that I would get. Like
Yeah.
if I have money, disposable income. And besides that, there's not a lot of stuff that I enjoy. Maybe like a watch or two, but I'm not really big into like watches and stuff like APs and Rolexes.
I like watches.
You like APs and Rolexes and all that stuff.
I don't know if I'd ever buy a very expensive watch. I just like
You can
watches.
get a cheap
in
AP.
general.
Like there's
Yeah.
APs for like 1,000, like even like $500. So
True.
So it depends on the model.
Yes.
There's some models that like millions. Right?
Yeah. Diamonds all over.
Yeah. The diamond encrusted ones, or like, oh, it's the special blue edition that was made by the owner's son when he
No.
was like
I
drawing crayon.
wouldn't get that unless I had fuck you money.
Right, exactly. So
Yeah.
I don't know. It just depends on the person. It's different people like different things.
Yep.
But I believe a nice watch is nice. Me, the two things that I enjoy in terms of vanity items is suits and cars.
I just started getting into suits.
I like suits.
So
Suits
I
are nice.
bought one suit here because it was pretty cheap, and then I'm probably gonna buy some more when I go home because like I was never really a suit person, and now I'm getting into it.
I got into suits because I used to go to the church a lot.
That's a legitimate reason.
Yeah, so I used to dress in suits all the time. I go to church and stuff. But then I kind of got used to it, and I like the look of it. I like being in a suit. I like the look in a suit. I think it's good. I think it looks good on everybody. There's basically nobody that looks bad in the suit unless the suit doesn't fit you.
Correct.
But if you go to a tailor, he can make anybody look good with a decent suit.
Correct.
You look very presentable, very professional.
Yeah.
Nice haircut.
Yep.
Yeah. You're gonna take over the world.
Look like a boss.
Yeah.
Yep.
The world is mine, type thing.
Yep. Yep.
Yeah, but that's what I'm saying. It's more. Everybody likes different things. Right? Like, for example, what are some things that you like in terms of vanity items?
Well, the only thing that I really liked that never changed growing up was cars. But then I started getting into motorcycles, and so like
Motorcycles are nice.
they are. So I had a nice car. I still have a nice car, but it's red, and I'm so sick of red. So that, talking about Ferraris.
I got a
being
Firebird.
red. Yeah, dude, literally, I had a Firebird. I had three red Mustangs. Yeah,
And you had one red Dodge to even out.
I currently have a red Harley.
Okay.
So between
You like the color red a little bit too much. You seem like you're a road rager.
I did. I loved red. I'm redded out. I've had enough. I want to get rid
Did
of
you
all
know
the
that
red.
people with red cars tend to get into more accidents?
No, we get pulled over more.
That's true too.
You should see my record.
The policeman starts calling you by your first name.
Yeah.
Like, hey, Josh.
I literally got pulled over just because the guy wanted to see my car. And it scared the shit out of me. I'm driving.
That is a flex,
Right?
When the guy pulls you over, it's like, damn, we got a nice car.
I
man.
wish-
What kind of model is it?
I wish-
You open the front and show him the engine and shit.
I literally
the police officers.
I dead ass wish I had the
Having a
video
good time.
because I was kind of speeding. Like not like crazy like I normally do, but I was cruising on the
5
back
over
roads.
speed limit, something.
Yeah, I was like maybe like 10 over, whatever the case is. And next thing you know, I see a cop coming up behind me and he flicks the lights on, and I'm like, what the fuck, man? Like, come on, like again? Because at that point I was getting pulled over left and right, and guy comes over the passenger's seat. Not even like the typical stop like license registration. He's just like, and I was like, can I help you? And he's just like, I was just pulling over to check out the car. I'm like,
That is definitely a fact. I'll be happy.
Part of me was like, fuck you, and the other part of me was like, all right, that was kind of cool.
Yeah, that's kind of cool, right? The guy started asking, what model is this, man?
He did. He's just
That's
like,
a nice-
what year is this? Whatever. He's just like, it sounds nice because I have like
I've heard
an
of that
aftermarket
before
exhaust.
when it comes to like really old like muscle cars.
Yeah.
Like if you get like a really nice but old Camaro, like a
I mean, this isn't like old.
yeah, like a old muscle car, like the ones you see in like the movies, like Fast and Furious and
Yeah.
stuff. If you get one of those, like a really nice one, it's
Yeah.
in good shape. Sometimes like you might have like people like stop to
No,
like be like, hey, what model is this? Like, what kind of car is this? This is awesome. Are you selling it? Like, they gotta hit you with that one. I had a friend. He had like old muscle car. I don't know what brand it was. I think it was a Dodge, like an old one. And he had people all the time being like, "You selling it? You selling it?"
You get.
Man, I'll give you like $100K for it. Like,
Oh,
you see what I'm saying? Like people are very excited to have cars like that. Like,
Yeah.
it's a very very famous one. Even Skylines are kind of like that too. If you have a nice like I think ZR34, like the famous one.
So those just became legal to have in the States now.
Oh yeah.
If you didn't know that.
Oh, yeah,
It had that like year of antique where like now we can actually have them in the States. Yeah.
Yeah, but that's definitely like one of those where it's like, if you have one of those, you're gonna have people coming up to you, like the car guys
dude,
are gonna come
yeah,
up to you and be like,
absolutely.
hey, how much you selling it, man? Like hook me up.
So the one thing that I've always wanted to do, like speaking of that car, is I've always wanted to drive a right-hand drive car. That's one thing on my bucket list.
Right. If you go to Britain, you'll find a lot of them. Or Japan.
That's true.
I think Britain, Japan, and I think India are like the only countries in the world that drive like right hand side.
I'll have to go visit.
That looks so crazy to
Yeah.
me. It would throw me off 100%.
Oh, it would definitely throw
like,
me
what
off.
is going on
Especially
here?
if it was stick
Oh yes.
and like trying to shift with my
Shift
left
with
instead
the
of my
left
right.
hand.
Oh my god, that'd be so
That would
weird.
nuts.
Yeah, be like, I need to take this on a couple back roads before I hit the main strip with this because I'm gonna stall it.
Some people are installing the manuals over here. Like, 'cause if you're not used to it, it happens all the time because you gotta engage the clutch.
Oh yeah, we went on a mission and some guy he's just like, because like I drove to like the first location. He's just like, I'm like, all right, I'm tired, so we're gonna swap out. And someone swapped out, and he immediately stalled. He's just like, Okay, never mind. I'm not doing this.
Yeah, it's like
I was like, you gave up that quick.
fuck manuals. I don't want this.
I was just like, all right,
I'm
like
done.
next.
Next.
I'm like, if I gotta hop back in and drive for another couple hours, I will. But
Yeah,
like,
right.
I'm tired as shit. Just drove like 5 hours.
I'm getting an Uber.
Yeah. Yeah.
That's definitely one of the things I want to do. Like drive a manual for a little bit, like get used to it.
Oh, you never driving a stick?
No, because I've never got the chance. Like, when I was in Portugal is one of those countries where like you don't really need a car. Like people have cars, they're just parked in the front of their house, and they just take the bus or the train to work.
Well,
Because you can save a lot of money on gas if you just decide to use public transportation because it's so readily available.
okay.
And the cities in Portugal are designed in a way where there's a lot of sidewalks. You can basically walk everywhere if you want.
All right.
So there's a lot of walking involved. That's one of the reasons why like people say like, oh, people in Europe are so skinny. Like I would say like that's probably like a big factor because we walk everywhere. We don't like, oh, let me hop in a car to the McDonald's like 2 minutes away.
Yeah.
To the drive-through, right? We don't do that.
Well, who knows? Maybe I'll talk to headquarters and see if they'll let me steal a van for like a day or so.
Right.
Because you're not the only one that said that they want to learn. I've talked to a few people.
So we actually ended up like telling that to the battalion commander. We talked to her about that because we wanted the soldiers to have a way to be able to maybe use a bus or something like that.
Right.
To go to certain towns so we can get supplies and stuff.
Yep.
Because there's been like kind of a little bit of a problem where you gotta go to the
There's only
convenience
so many people
store,
that can drive.
and there's so many things that you cannot get in the convenience store that
Right.
are army related. Like for example, if you want to get a PT shirt or like a PT shorts, something like that.
Yeah.
Right. You can't really get that stuff in the Dinos, right?
Right. Exactly.
It's not fair.
Yeah.
So I believe that's one of the things they should provide. At least even if it's only like a couple times a week or maybe one time a week. You can have one day where everybody guts on a bus and let's go
Right.
to a BX or something like that, exchange.
Yep.
I believe that would be a beneficial thing for people here.
Yeah. Well, let me. We'll talk to them and see if I can steal it because I teach people too.
Right.
So like I've taught I've taught a few people. So and I'm very patient with it. So the only thing with these is the clutches are very sensitive.
Oh yeah.
So, but other than that, they're a lot of fun to drive.
Right.
But yeah,
Yeah.
I think my time is up with you for today.
Hey.
So
Anytime,
I-
send me up.
I-
I might be busy because I'm a busy guy, but
I'm gonna get you back on.
We'll
I'm
get
gonna
another
get you
chance.
back
We'll
on.
get another
We'll
chance.
figure it out.
this is just
So,
a test drive.
Yeah, it's a test drive. So, but
So
yeah.
you better not let them me.
But hey, I appreciate you coming on,
I appreciate you for having me.
and yeah.
Pleasure.
So I'll see you guys soon. All right.
Cool.